I got here today, and the first thing that I see is hydraulic fluid just everywhere. And it's not leaking off the cylinders. And the whole loader arm was down on the ground, which I left it up when I left. And underneath I stuck a catch pan for the oil that was dripping, and it was just literally overflowing that back one there. And so I just added this one here. The leak is coming from the seal on the back of the hydraulic pump where this U-joint slash shaft goes in. I definitely have to do something about this before we go using this thing, because I don't want to lose 5 gallons of hydraulic fluid every time I leave it for a few days. So I just had to add about 5 gallons of hydraulic fluid just to get the arm and the bucket up and out of the way like it was before. It'll make it much easier to work on this hydraulic pump right here, get it out so I can replace the seal that's leaking. Right here we have another Caterpillar 955 track loader. And this is the chassis here, and then we've got the engine block. And it's open. It's been sitting outside for who knows how many years. All the plates are loose, and you can see down in all the different passages. I mean, even the covers on the motor are loose. The plan is to get as much of it as we can, because parts are not cheap, and we don't know if we're going to have issues or what's going to go on with the track loader. And then I'm told in this box truck, this freezer truck, there's a whole bunch more of the track loader parts. Alright, so if you watched Rescuing Old Iron episode 4, then you saw me cut block to this, cut the bush that was here out of the way, and basically get into this for the first time in probably 20 plus years. And so all I did was literally look in there, saw a bunch of parts for the cat, and that's as much as I've gotten into it. So now we're going to open it up, we're going to pull a bunch of stuff out and figure out what's for the cat, what parts I might need, and then we're going to grab everything for the cat because it goes with the TraxCavator. So, you know, this old box truck's pretty cool. You can even see somebody at one point decided to do some target practice right here on the door. So, let's get into it. Well, we found the grill for the John Deere tractor that was up by the other building. And these are some of the side fenders for that John Deere. Same with this. And this. Empty, just like the other one. No way. Oh, baby. Check it out. I've been looking everywhere on this property for this. I wondered if there was one here. Sprocket. This is probably a used Sprocket, but man, it is in great condition. Oh, yes! That is so awesome. Wow. I'm so excited to get this out. This is awesome. Man, I'm so excited. Wow. I've heard to install this, it's one heck of a job. But I don't even care. So excited to find the part. They are all parts that go with the machine as a parts machine, which is so exciting because, you know, obviously with a machine built in 1956 is what I think, finding and getting parts for it is not easy or cheap. So this pile here, plus what's in the other building, plus what's outside, has made this project really a viable thing to do for me. So yeah, we're gonna clean this box out for them. We're gonna go through what's garbage and put it in a pile. We're gonna go through what's good and they should keep, put it in another pile. There's not a lot other than cat stuff in here, other than those John Deere things, some doors, some kerosene cans, etc. First light of day in decades. The other major problem is the sprocket spinning like a mother. You can see all the wear. When I try and turn, and this sprocket needs to do all the work and drive, it literally just spins right within the chain. So a very soon project is going to be putting the other sprocket, the extra one that we have on here. Haven't decided if I'm going to split the whole thing and put it all in, which is what I'd prefer to do, or cut all the way around and weld on the new ring, which is what I would not like to do. I just think there's a higher chance of something going wrong or breaking. This old sprocket, it's the original too. No welding along the edge. The teeth look very good. The splines there look pretty good. Got some, you know, built up crap and grease. I mean, a little cleanup and she'll be ready to rock and roll. They couldn't decide. The ultimate decision, Pepsi or Coke. And they didn't have the wide mouth. I even found a pair of safety glasses similar to the ones I wore in the video where I started the diesel. Sure as heck ain't putting these on my face. Nasty. Alright, we got everything out that's not parts for the Caterpillar. So here, we've got some clutch parts, hydraulic hoses, tubes, the actual lift cylinders for the arm, bunch more hoses, some of the pedals, some of the levers, a fan for the radiator, clutch packs, some plates, looks like the seat assembly where it would be underneath, big long levers. We got another hydraulic tank here. Looks like it's got an awesome mouse nest in there I'll have to deal with first. But looks like it's in pretty good shape. And a bunch more hardware for the cat. So yeah, that's just the parts in here. There's more outside, and then there's more in the other building right around the cat. And if we keep moving through the brush here, here's another track for the 955 sitting there. And then right here, we have another entire loader arm with the bucket. Here's the bucket. Here's the arm. Full loader. And this is some sort of a bell housing. Okay, so that is actually the rear sprocket that on one of the sides they said had some work at one point. That's probably the rear sprocket, and as you can see, they torched it off to get it out. So yeah, right here you can see the Caterpillar grill, and then there's the loader arm. There's a roller for one of the sides of the tracks. Here's another roller with the whole roller frame assembly. Looks like they're both here. There's one here and one right there. And then there's the other track. Right here. Basically wound up. So that's awesome. That is a great thing to find. All these extra parts for this machine will be great. So another area where I've got additional parts is in here. So this bench is covered with all kinds of the bolts, different levers, different pins. You know, there's some brake shoes, some of the covers, the radiator. We've got track rollers here. Some of the upper roller guides, different parts, another exhaust manifold, hydraulic filter, assembly, and over here we've got another gas tank, you know, that center cover over the middle of the machine. Yeah, these parts are going to be huge, getting the machine, you know, up running, tip-top shape. So right here, this yellow section is the bottom of the coolant tank, where the hydraulic pump literally mounts to it, and it has nothing to do with the cooling system at all. They literally just, on this motor, on this engine, they used this as a place to mount the hydraulic pump using the fixture position of this lower coolant tank. So this here has two big lines, one here and one here, and these are the supply and return lines for hydraulic fluid. The pump mounts through the actual housing here, and so there's a gasket right here, a seal, that this shaft basically spins in. This is a U-joint setup, and that plate mounts directly to the back of the diesel engine. And so when the diesel engine spins, it turns this whole thing like a drive shaft essentially, and this has a basically female end that slides over the male shaft, spline shaft that comes out of the hydraulic pump. So to get that seal out, the one that's dripping here, you have to take the hydraulic pump off the front of the motor, or the front of the engine here. And while we have the hydraulic pump out, we're going to go ahead and take a look at it and make sure it's in good working order. I was even prepared, and I still made a mess. So this baby is definitely grenaded the bearing on this shaft here. When we look in here, you can see a bunch of grease, which is fine, but Right here are a bunch of metal shavings. I'll clean this up a little bit and then I'll show you a little bit better of what happened in here. So the seal that we need to replace basically goes right here. I can feel the metal lip in here that rubber seal would have been attached to. Gotcha. So there is the outer metal ring of that seal. This surface feels good. I don't feel any problems, no real dings or dents. We have more than just a bad seal issue here, so we've got to do something about that bearing, and I've got some ideas. Here is the pump that we pulled out of the front of the tractor. Definitely shouldn't have that kind of play in it. And I believe that's because the bearing race that basically would be on the outside of this just exploded. These are the little metal shards that were left. They were all sitting right in a pile of grease right at the bottom of this when I pulled it out. And these basically would cover and basically hold each bearing in the race all the way around the front of that. So the reason the seal went bad is because this bearing exploded and just shoved, you know, sharp razor pieces of metal into it, and also kind of let the shaft sag slightly. And when it sags down, it puts more pressure on that rubber seal, causing it to, you know, to fall apart and get ruined. And these splines here fit over the top of this. And that's how, when the motor turns this, it spins the shaft inside and spins the whole pump, causing pressure to build up what the machine needs to operate the hydraulic arm. I don't have bearings today, but for now, I have another solution. Voila! The parts machine has blessed us with an extra pump. Here we can see a little bit closer what the bearing should look like when it is fully together in good condition. You can see that little metal like loops. Those basically are what are supposed to cover these bearings and keep them in place. And the cover, plus it has a lot of play. This one is in much better shape. Very little up and down play. I cleaned it up. I still think that, you know, this one is totally rebuildable with a couple new bearings. I saw that there is a kit for these. I don't know how much it costs or whatever, but the longer term plan is to rebuild this one, have it set up for an extra, you know, in case I actually have problems with this one. So for right now, we're going to put this one in the machine because it's in much better condition. And right now I don't have the ability to get the bearings. I need to get this project going and get this machine off their property. So they've been nothing but gracious this entire project, but I'm in a backwoods barn here, and you got to remember that at the end of the day, I am doing all this without power, without water, without most of my tools. I'm bringing what I need, at least what I think, and trying to get it operational so that it can make the long journey to the place that we're going to be putting it at. So for right now, we're going to go with this pump, and we'll deal with this one later. I ran a tap through all of these threads just to make sure that they're nice and clean. Cleaned up both of the faces that the hydraulic lines are going to be attached to. Now I'm going to pack this bearing with a little bit of grease. And then we're going to work on getting that new seal installed. And then we're going to put this pump in. Voila. To replace this seal, I've got a brand new Timken oil seal, which it should look a lot more like this. This would have been in there. And so then this seals around that shaft, keeping the hydraulic oil from leaking. So that'll be the replacement. To get it in there properly, I have a bearing race and seal driver kit. The way it works is it's got these different size discs. So that one fits perfect. And what you do, take one of these handles and you literally screw this handle onto it. And now, when I put it in there, I can use this to tap it in there straight, like that. And I've got all these sizes here, and then it goes all the way down, 4 and 3, you know, big ones, and then all the way down to like 6 1/4. And so I found these, they were just all rusty, got crazy. I cleaned them up. They're coated with just some light oil, and this is a perfect opportunity to get it out. All right, now you can see the new seal in there. Okay, now I'm going to get this U-joint back installed. There we go. All right, now we got the pump bolted back in here, got the whole U-joint sleeve assembly installed. All right, perfect. The other thing is this. I mean, it's loose. And there's a couple holes in it, plus this fitting. Thank you for everybody's help on what this is. This is the kingpin or the you know, the torsion bar or something to that effect. I don't know the exact name, but it is supposed to be bolted right here, and it is not. So I stuck a screwdriver in there, and there's actually a broken bolt in there. Go figure. I'm gonna jack this up slightly, try and get some tension off of it, and see what I can do with it. I don't know exactly what to do with it, because that bolt is recessed and probably going to be a very, very hard bolt to get out. And it'd be much easier to drop the pan on the other side, and I don't know. We'll see. Let's get this jacked up a little bit and see if we can take some tension off of it. Well, I don't know if that's right or not. This pin is very short. I don't know if it should be that short. You can see the slightly misaligned hole where that pin is supposed to go, and it's not lined up. Might be able to get it back in there. I do want to make sure I'm going to try and get this bolt out. Alright, I'm going to drill a hole in this, and we're going to give this a shot, trying to get this baby out. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to take, what is this? A T27 torque bit. We're going to tap it into this hole. You want the most possible contact with those basically the tines on that T27 torque bit. You want to get them basically as far in there so that they got the most amount of bite to actually grab and twist that bolt out once we get to that point. And you want to drill the hole 1 to 3 sizes under the size of the bit. And what it'll do is it'll just basically force its way in there, get stuck, and then we can use that to try and loosen it. Can't tell if it's going or not. I feel like it was, but oh yes, I think I got it. Oh man, I did not think I was gonna get this one. I figured, man, it's an undercarriage, it's been down there forever, broken. I thought there was no chance. But I think we got it. Hell yes. Yeah, it's moving. Yes. Oh yeah, baby. There it is. Man. This torque bit trick is absolutely one of my favorites. I've used easy outs, I've used left-handed drill bits, I've tried everything, but man, you just buy a cheap pack of these T20s, you know, T20 through T50, and you just pick the, you know, whatever size you think fits about right, and they're disposable, they're cheap. Now let's get to aligning this a little better so we can put it back together and not have the whole Trek frame fall off. Correct me if I'm wrong, but shouldn't this be much, much longer? And I can't quite tell if there's another round thing back there that kind of looks like it might be the other length of this bar. I'm not sure on this machine if it is supposed to be this short. The grease zerk, which would be here, only goes to here, and then the grease would basically fill the tube and then come out right here, which I cleaned that out. I took the actual fitting off right now. Hopefully it's supposed to be just this small. Like you saw, we got that bolt out and I chased it with a tap just to clean up the threads. And so now we're going to try and get this hole lined up a little better so we can get at least this piece in there, bolted in, so that at least for a temporary we can move it. But let me know in the comments definitely if this is the pin, period, end of story, or has it cracked off and broken in the machine. I can't quite tell, and I do need to look it up, but I haven't had a chance yet. So for now, we're going to put it in the way I've got it and then go from there. It's very tempting to stick your finger in holes like this to try and clean something out or kind of just feel around. Don't do it. That is the way you lose fingers. Stick something else in there, anything else but a part of your body. All right, see if we can get it in there. Oh, awesome. Don't even have to pound it. Brand new Caterpillar bolt, brand new lock washer, thick, heavy, flat washer. Right now, that grease zerk is supposed to have a tube that goes to it. For now, I'm going to install a grease zerk just straight into it, and then I'm going to grease it. And when I get around to doing some more work on this, once I get it back to the property, I plan to replace a bunch of grease zerk tubes. And so for now, though, to grease this baby, we're just going to go ahead and put that grease zerk in there and grease it up that way. So this is the belly pan that is in front of the machine at the bottom. It's got a big tow hook bolted here on the underside. And so this is all the crap that's just been built up. I mean, we got a old wasp nest, got, you know, oil, grease, sticks, a mouse nest here. So I'm just gonna really quickly clean this off, get it all off, and then it'll be good enough to put back for now. So, for everybody wanting to know why I haven't power washed this thing yet, you need to remember, as with everything else, I'm working in a backwoods barn here. I don't have power, which is irrelevant because I have a gas pressure washer, but I don't have water either, and I don't have a tank on a trailer setup, so all I can do is clean what I can, and I have every intention on power washing this dang thing top to bottom so I can find out if there are any additional leaks, problems, not to mention just cleaning it up, make it look nice. So I'm doing my best with what I can do out here in the woods. Yeah, that'll do. side of the grill does not want to line up with the bolt holes. So I think I've got a plan that will work. Just straighten that out. So we got old red looking a little better. We got the grill on, we got the sides on, we got the hood on. We got the Salvage Workshop decal on. We know it was made in America. And so here's the hydraulic pump. No leak. It sounds a lot better. It was really whining pretty bad. So we still got the belly pan to put on and the front cover for this pump. But I'm gonna run it a little bit just to see if we have any hydraulic problems. But man, this sprocket spinning is really causing a lot of problems. Even just to try and drive it out of here. Not sure what my plan is now. Messing with the track, and this screw essentially is what's supposed to screw that way to tighten up the idler so that the track gets tighter. And these pipes were here, and I thought I was actually turning this nut using a wrench I had, but it was just spinning. When I popped this pipe out, the whole thing came that way and loosened up the track pretty good. So I've got a whole bunch of the parts from the parts machine loaded up. The radiator, hydraulic filter, fuel tank covers, other rollers, and a bunch of other things in the van, a lot of the hardware, etc. So all we have left is the machine and some of the big stuff. So the plan is to tighten that up and move this baby out of here. So that's gonna be the next step. It's gotta take about a half-mile trip from here to the road where we'll load it up. And then it's got about a mile trek through the woods. It's gonna drive a couple hundred feet through a creek. Gonna have to cut its way across one of them. And so that's why I've been doing all this work to get it ready, is that it's not just a drop off at the front door kind of situation. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be a very, very cool way to get the machine where we're going.